Hello.
Hi.
So this is a new series. It's going to be called the Apocalyptic Podcast, and it's going to be a podcast. You guessed it from the name. And the first guest was my wife, because that's the one I could find the easiest. It's also that I kind of like her. That's another reason. I'm kind of fond of her. So that is Zoe. And or do you want to be called Zoe?
No, I
Do
don't
you like
mind.
the English or the Greek pronunciation better?
Whatever.
She's called whatever. So okay. So what would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
How we met?
Yeah, probably.
So how did we meet then?
I was at FantasyCon in Thessaloniki in Phantasmagoria back in 2000.
You were or I was?
I was there first.
You were there first. Technically, that is true.
I was there before you. And actually, I was a year before you there.
Yeah?
Anyways.
What were you doing there?
I was the master decorator for the festival. I was a sponsor for the festival, and I did some workshops regarding upcycled furniture.
So what else did you do?
I think we did a demonstration with swords.
With swords?
Yes.
So you were into swordsmanship even back then?
Yeah, I was in Hima, like you.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you were in another group that you had made?
Yeah, I was in a group that it was my team, which I created for selfish reasons because I wanted to train in Hima. That's why I gathered like 10 friends of mine, and we had.
That's good for everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, and you popped up there with your team, Apocalyptic Nights.
Yeah, but that was the next day.
Yes.
You presented on Saturday and I presented on Sunday.
Exactly, and actually it was really...
But you were there both days.
Yeah, I was, because I had also, I was an exhibitor with my shop back then, the Craft of Raven, which I used to sell fantasy merch and, home decor and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I found out that you are going to demonstrate longsword as well, I was a little bit pissed off because
because you wanted to be the only one.
No. First of all, I was really pissed off because you used the name Apocalyptic.
So what?
I was like...
What's so bad about that?
Yeah. Because I'm into apocalyptic neo-folk. And I was like...
Yeah, well, the
Anyway.
name was not about music, it's because, it means a lot of things that I like.
I know. Anyway, but I was really curious to see what are you going to show with your team. And I managed to to come to your workshop.
Yeah, and I asked for some volunteers at some point, and guess who popped up together with others?
I raised my hand.
Yeah.
And you picked me up.
Well, I picked 10 people up.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, and
But I only married you out of them.
yeah.
So
definitely you're not a Muslim.
Yeah, I'm not. But that was not the purpose, though.
Yeah.
That was not. It was not a marriage volunteering. It was just for swordsmanship, like for the workshop. And so you got a synthetic longsword.
Mm-hmm. And I followed your
instructions.
yes, you had. I think we were in a row, if I remember correct, in the stage, and we were demonstrating the basic cuts, if I remember.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
the idea was to have some people who were not familiar with the sport.
No, but I was familiar.
Yeah, but I didn't know it, and I wanted volunteers who were not familiar, so that they can try holding a longsword and see how it feels.
No, actually, it's funny because I wanted to try your synthetic longswords because if I remember correct, I was ready to place an order for a sword, and I was thinking to order for a steel longsword or feather sword.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to buy a synthetic sword for for the meantime between, because it takes a long time to get your sword if you make a custom order. So one of my main reasons I wanted to participate in your workshop was to see how the sword it was in real life, because I never touched a synthetic longsword before.
How was your experience with that workshop and everything?
Yeah, okay, I didn't like it back then, so I was I wasn't impressed. How can I say it?
You weren't impressed.
No.
I don't understand why, but you got a very good impression of me afterwards, right? After we had a chat, like I had a chat with everybody who participated afterwards, like a very short chat. And
actually we didn't have a short chat. We have a long one.
Yeah, I don't remember. Was it too long?
Yeah. You don't remember, but
I don't remember how long it was. I just remember a couple of highlights.
I was trying to escape from our conversation and you're still...
Yeah, I just remember some highlights, like you asking me if I've noticed your group's videos that you're posting on Facebook, was it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think...
Yeah. And you asked what do I think about your group, and what was my answer? It was something like...
Yeah, you're not bad.
It was like, yeah, it's not bad, but you need a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you were pretty pissed off about that, right?
Yes.
You're pretty mad at me. Not a very good impression.
I'm still mad at you. I mean, it's been 7 years and I'm mad at you almost every day. So.
Yeah. So that was the reason. Now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And so after that, we just kind of were acquaintances.
Actually, yeah, we didn't have a lot of, communication afterwards. Yeah. But I think you called me like 3-4 months afterwards to tell me about for a HEMA tournament in Athens.
Yeah, in Piraeus. Yeah.
Yes, in Piraeus, and I was participating in open longsword category. I was the only.
Yeah, and I was gonna go too.
Yes, and you asked me.
And also another guy from our school, and
I remember I was.
Because we lived in the same area, I asked you if you would like to maybe travel together, so we share the expenses of the car.
Yeah, the fun.
But you really didn't want that.
No. Fun fact: the day that you called me, my friend Catherine.
Yeah.
She was there as well, and we were planning to go there together with her car. Because we were attending to a fantasy con. I was there, I was the master decorator as well, and I would have also works on stuff.
Yeah.
And she didn't like you either. So the moment you called and she realized.
But she didn't know me, so how did she not like me?
Everybody knew.
It's because you didn't like me. So
actually, she knew you from the Phantasmagoria festival. She didn't like you at all. She was like,
did I meet her there?
No, she was really how can I say it? She was avoiding you very successfully.
So she was there.
She was there with.
But she was.
She didn't like you.
Yeah, well, I don't even remember if she was there. So I don't think we interacted in some way.
Yes, actually.
So I'm guessing.
She's so talented.
I'm guessing her opinion of me was based on your opinion of me at the time, mostly.
Anyway, and she was there, and the moment you called, and she saw in my face that you are the one that calling. We were in my shop then, in my workshop, at the Craft of Raven back then, and the moment I realized that it's you. And you're trying to convince me to travel with you to Piraeus for the tournament. She was starting, to waving like crazy, like, if he comes, I want to come. Tell him we're full.
this is a lot funnier if you actually know that friend.
Yes.
Because she's very she's very funny when she does things like that. Yeah.
So I was trying to be polite. If you remember, I was polite with you. I was like, okay, thank you very much. I'm not interested. I have plans and so on. And we didn't talk afterwards. And we met at the tournament it was June. I mean, we first met. It was April, and then we met on June in Piraeus in the tournament. Yeah. So it was like 2 months in between. Yeah,
and there was a bit of an adventure in that tournament. Actually, somebody stole my bag where I had all my keys, my money, my everything, like car keys,
your
house
purse.
keys, everything. Yeah, you could call it that, I guess. My man purse. The problem with that situation was that it totally wasn't my fault that somebody stole those things. The tournament was in an enclosed space, which was a schoolyard, and it was Sunday, was it?
It was
Sunday. So there was nobody there. Yes. Nobody was there. It was closed, and only we were there who were taking part in the tournament. It had one gate from where you could get in and out, and I left my stuff to two friends of mine, one of whom is a kickboxer, and the other is a semi-professional MMA fighter. So I left them my stuff, and they managed to not only lose sight of them, but also to let them be stolen by somebody who popped in, got that stuff, and moved out immediately. It was, I don't know, it was destiny, I guess.
Yeah. From the other
one of them moved closer to watch my fights better, and in his mind, he left the stuff to the other guy without telling him. And the other guy saw that guy move closer, and he thought, I will move closer too, to have a better view of the fights. So, after I finished my fights, my first thought was, where's my stuff? Who's looking after my stuff? And sure enough, nobody was looking after my stuff, and it was not only that, it was gone. Anyway, so I stopped participating in that tournament, even though I had advanced.
However,
but before that, we had fought together.
Yeah, but
we had fights.
You're forgetting the majority of events. I mean, I called the organizer the moment I find out that you're participating in the tournament.
That was before the tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I told him that please, I want to be in different pool than Yanis, because I don't like him.
Yeah.
And I arranged to be in the first pool, and you were in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make plans, the fate
So what happened is that you were out of schedule with the other things you had to do, so you had to fight in the last pool where I was.
Yeah, because I was...
So we ended up being in the same pool after all. Good job.
I tried.
That worked well.
Yeah.
And anyway, then the whole thing happened, and we also fought.
Yes.
Yeah.
So of course, you win. Actually, it was my first tournament ever in steel. Actually, in long short, in general.
We should have, let the viewers ask that question, like, who won?
You won.
Keep them
However, I managed to perform a perfect ord in your face.
Yeah, you do. She did land a very good thrust in my face, so that was impressive.
Do you have the video? You have to edit the video here, and you put that.
It probably rattled my brain a little bit, and might have been the reason why I kind of started liking her.
This is how you do it. If you want a guy, you have to hit him first.
Right. That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it, I guess.
So and that was our second encounter in.
Yeah. And then when I got my bag stolen, and we locked the gates, and we looked into we searched everybody's bags, so it was not there. Somebody took it and left. Mm-hmm. And we kind of suspect the guy who came in and came out at about that time, but we cannot know for sure. And the police in Greece is really not going to bother with things like that. They just don't bother at all. It's not like a police movie or something that the entire movie will be about them finding something. They just don't bother so much about, unless somebody killed somebody, they basically don't bother so much. So what happened is you came up with a good idea, so I don't have to wait until the next day to receive my spare keys for the car, because the guy who had the car keys could actually steal my car at any time. So I had to guard my car for as long as it took to get the keys and take it out of there. So you had a good idea about that. You thought quickly, and you helped me get the keys for the car, and that's when you started not disliking me so much, I think.
Actually, I was there with a friend of mine because I was in the festival.
Yeah.
And we came, just for my tournament, and he was waiting there, to drive me back to the festival area. And at this moment, when I realized that, it was your bag was stolen, and you were really, frustrated, which is totally normal, because you didn't mention that Piraeus is 500 kilometers away from your home.
Yeah.
It's really far away.
We had to drive many hours.
It's 5 hours driving. So, I remember when we were, you were trying to figure out what you're going to do. And, this idea kind of popped out in my brain. Because I think it's one of my abilities.
You thought about how to resolve that problem, and it really helped, because otherwise I would still get the keys, but that would mean that I would have to guard the car for the entire night.
Just wait for a couple
sit next to the
hours.
car, and because whoever had the keys can just press the button for unlocking the car and find where it is, and then steal it. So you saved a lot of waiting hours, and I was very grateful for that.
And money, because if you had to call for a locksmith, probably it would cost you like 300 euros.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would probably wait there, but that would be a waste of time. So after that, I had to visit Katerini, where I had to get, to make new keys for the car and get a new ID and everything.
You know what?
So I was passing sometimes from your shop and saying hello. And
maybe we should also, that your home is like 30 kilometers away from where my shop was. So you had a lot of spare time in between your errands.
Yeah.
That's why you come to my shop.
Yeah. So then we started becoming friends a little bit. But there was
in the beginning.
But we were just friends for a very long time.
Yes.
Then eventually we got interested in each other somehow. But so I don't know what it is, but I don't know why it is, but I hear it a lot of times that the first time somebody meets me, they don't like me.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm imagining it might be because I'm just too disconnected, maybe, and too
No.
shut in myself.
No.
Maybe I'm a little bit of an asshole sometimes.
Yes.
Could be.
You're arrogant.
That could be. I'm not arrogant. I'm just doing it for humorous purposes.
But if I don't know you, you're arrogant.
Exactly. So what happens is afterwards people just get to know me and like me. But in the beginning, a lot of people really don't like me, and some of the reasons maybe I don't know. Maybe it's also that I'm just too much in my thoughts sometimes.
No, that's one problem. You are not too much into your thoughts.
I think I am.
No, this is not the problem. Actually, it's quite the opposite. You let your thoughts.
Yeah, well, that's selected thoughts. That
they are not selected. This is the problem as well.
They kind of are, because
no.
Well, when people don't know me, maybe they don't understand that a lot of things that I may say are just for humorous purposes.
Okay.
I just like to have fun.
You're not a prick.
And people to have fun.
Yeah, and don't have fun.
Pretending to be a little bit of a prick is one way of,
we don't
having a
like
laugh.
you.
Whatever. It's not very convincing now, is it?
Yeah.
Anymore.
We didn't like you.
Yeah.
All of us.
So you had you said you had that shop, Craft of Raven?
Yeah.
Was it Craft or The Craft of Raven?
The Craft of Raven.
It was The Craft of
Raven.
And why the Raven? Because
it's my spirit animal.
Because of that dumb movie, The Crow?
it's different animals. Raven.
It's
and
the
crow.
same animal.
No, it's not. It's different.
Oh boy. They call it a raven in the United States, I think, and a crow in Europe. I think something like that.
I think
Or is it
it's the opposite, but there is.
It's the opposite?
They're from the same family.
It's not the opposite.
It's not the same bird. It's quite. They have some differences. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, it's the same bird, but just the American and the European
exactly,
version,
yeah.
maybe.
So it's not the same.
Yeah, well, potato.
Exactly.
Raven, crow. Potato. So that's why you chose it, because of that movie?
Actually, a friend of mine chose it.
I kind of like that movie, by the way.
I like to.
I'm making fun of it. See, I like that movie, but I'm still making fun of it. But I liked it when I saw it when I was a kid.
I saw it in the movies. I was a teenager back then.
I saw it again with you.
Yes.
Decades after I saw it the first time, and I must admit I was not as impressed as the first time I saw it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, a lot of movies were more spectacular than they are now.
You know, we saw a lot of movies together that we really liked
Yeah.
back then, and we loved a lot in some of those that we really loved as children.
Yeah, I mean, Conan the Barbarian.
No, this is this is a classic, yeah.
It is a classic, but
Conan the Barbarian was okay.
well,
It was.
yeah, the Destroyer was
The
much
Destroyer
worse.
was the problem.
If you mean that, the Destroyer was definitely.
No, Conan the Barbarian.
It was atrocious. The
No.
Destroyer was terrible. But anyway, I don't know how they managed to ruin it. They had the recipe right the first time, so I don't know why they cannot follow the same recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the thing is, a lot of movies, when you see them as a kid, they amaze you, and then when you grow up and learn a few things, especially as regards sword fighting and things like that, you watch the movie again, and it's an entirely different movie, and you're thinking, how did I ever like that movie? So that's what happened with a lot of movies. But you know, there are some elements of every movie that was good that are kind of timeless, so people can actually watch them now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that shop, and so does that mean that you're a person who likes arts? That you're into arts?
Yeah,
You like artistic things?
I was since how can I say it?
Your
I
age.
was
How old were you?
maybe I was around 6 or 7 when I started to realize that I really like to draw, and
Mm-hmm.
then you know I was attending art school for kids
Yeah.
for many years,
Mhm.
and afterwards I was studying to go to the art school, but
Right.
then I changed my plans because I didn't like. In between, I managed to work as an art teacher for kids when I was 19 years old, and I realized that I don't want to be a teacher.
I kind of noticed, because you're not particularly crazy about teaching our kids.
No,
Those things.
especially our kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really difficult to teach your kids. I mean,
Yeah.
So-
might be a little true.
when I was into classical drawing,
Mhm.
and I was trained as an artist. But in the meantime, I realized that I really like to incorporate art in the everyday life. So
Right.
I switched my interest into how I can transform everyday items.
Yeah.
And
Like furniture.
yeah, exactly, furniture, or like home decor and stuff, and how to make your space beautiful with what we have, and upcycle stuff and
Mhm.
so on.
So yeah, I agree with you that art is not something that should be in a gallery. It should be something that is in everyday life,
Mhm.
because we need beauty in our life. Because I think humans are very, how can I say it? I know the word in Greek, but how it is in English, I'm not sure. Mimetic?
Mimetic.
Is it?
Yeah, actually.
They basically copy what they see. So if you see ugly things all the time, then that kind of imprints itself inside of you and makes you more ugly somehow. But if you see beautiful things, it has the opposite effect. So that was Plato's idea that the city, if you read the Republic of Plato, the Republic, that's the state of Plato. The Republic, by the way, is the wrong translation. It's a terrible translation. I don't know why they even came up with that. He's not talking about a republic, he's talking about a state. So the ideal state. And he says that the ideal state should have a lot of beautiful things that are following specific analogies, proportions of numbers, and that everything is beautiful because that imprints itself in the soul of the inhabitants. In this way, they become better and more balanced, and they develop in a healthy way. And if you think about it, you know, what is a monster? Like, why do you have the elves and the orcs in Tolkien? Mm-hmm. It's basically something that is not harmonious in the way it's designed or built. Well, of course, the orcs in Tolkien are maybe an external reflection of an internal chaos and disharmony, and the elves are the opposite. And that's why the elves are so artistic as well. They make everything beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the orcs really do not. So there is something in that for sure. So you said you stopped studying art in the university. And the reason for that, because you wanted to do something else. So what was that?
You know, actually, I didn't went to the university at all. I mean, I passed the exams and I never attended the university because I didn't want to. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like...
But what did you want to do instead?
Back then, I was working, I mean, in several jobs, like, you know, like I was into nightclubs and stuff. And I started working like backstage coordinator for live concerts.
So you were a backstage coordinator.
Actually,
that's a babysitter for rock stars.
I didn't start it that way. The first
bring them
job
sandwiches and towels. What is that?
Actually, the first thing that I did, I was like the catering girl. I mean, I was in charge for the food, for the coffee area, and for for the beverages and stuff and towels. And I was in the backstage area, and I had to keep in mind only those things. I mean, nothing else.
Right.
Just to do, to keep everything, tight and stuff.
And there are plenty of interesting stories about very famous rock stars that you had to work with, and what crazy things they were demanding.
I have a lot of stories, and from there, when I started working as a catering girl. Mm-hmm. I climbed the ladder of to the production, and I managed to be a production assistant and backstage coordinator for really big events. Mm-hmm. So, I was in charge to fulfilling all the crazy demands of the artists, and we have this the riders. This is how we call it. It's like a contract. They say prior to the gig.
It's a list of what they want.
It's a lot
what they expect from the organization, right?
There are plenty of lists. I mean, some things are crazy and some are logical.
So you want to talk about some of the craziest stories and demands or whatever?
Yeah, I can. There are. I mean. I can understand about the food and the drinks. Okay, they can. Sometimes the artists are for a long time in the road, and they want to make sure that they're gonna have enough drinks. And food. I mean, I can get that, but I don't get the 170 towels, and I don't get the
170 towels for how many people?
Like 50.
So 50 people, they need 170 towels.
Yes.
And did they specify why?
No.
Is it like one for the face, one for the...
This is what we said,
One for the front, one for the back.
Me and my crew were talking about
that makes sense.
Okay, they want to wipe their asses and then throw it away. Who knows?
Probably. I hope you burned those towels afterwards.
No, of course, I have to wash them, but in really, really high temperature.
100%,
yes,
100 degrees.
They're white and no worries.
Boiling, basically.
But actually, once I throw away towels for a band. I won't say the name.
Why not?
No, I won't say it.
Okay.
They were super disgusting, and I.
Do you want to tell me, whisper it to me, and then I can say it?
No.
Because I don't mind.
I don't want to give them away. Anyway, it's a progressive rock band, really famous from England. If you know, you know.
Progressive rock band from England.
They were super.
I might know what you mean because you've told me.
I mean,
some things.
They smell really bad. The people, not the towels. So when they touch the towels.
The towels also smell very bad.
Yes, and I was like, okay, I remember I'm telling to my crew that you do not keep the towels, just throw the towels away.
Why did they smell so much?
Okay,
what was the smell? Could you tell? Was it like
weed and
homeless smell? Oh, it was weed smell.
Yeah, weed smell and
it smells a bit like piss.
Sweat. Yeah, exactly.
Weed,
like really
acidic, kind of.
Like a dog that was wet from rain. Got musty.
I was never into weed, but there were some people in my
weed,
university who were, and I know the smell because that's how they smelled all the time.
Anyway.
So I know the smell, and it was not pleasant to be around. So
other crazy demands.
What else? Crazy demands about the food. You've told me that they were asking for very exquisite,
sometimes
food. Sometimes, especially who was asking? Who were the guys who were asking for like a very expensive chef?
Usually
foods, and then they ended up eating the souvlaki and the gyros from the
the crew.
Yeah,
for the local crew actually.
So you got souvlaki and gyros for the crew.
If I remember
souvlaki and gyros, very good Greek meat stuff, and these guys wanted.
They didn't demand
what did they
for
want?
lobsters and stuff. No, they brought their own chef with them.
Right.
So their chef, who was a really nice guy, we had a really good cooperation, and he was really kind.
What did he make them?
It's for Kiss. For the band.
It was Kiss.
Yes, Kiss.
And what did he make?
He did a lot of like fish and really gourmet stuff, and I had a separate area for their crew because they were on tour, so there were a lot of people, and I ordered a lot of Greek food. I mean. Souvlaki, steaks, sausages and stuff.
And they ended up eating the cruise food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, I ate their food because the chef brought it to me. So
you ate the food for the entire Kiss band?
For people. I mean,
how many are they for?
I didn't eat for the 4 people. I mean, I ate one plate.
I don't believe that. I know that you can eat for 4 people.
Yeah, I can eat, but anyway,
you don't look like it, but you can. And
actually,
I know it.
Now I look like. I used not to look like, but now, okay.
You exaggerate.
Now I look like someone that eats food.
But you don't exaggerate about how much you can eat. That much she doesn't exaggerate about.
Not now. I mean.
Yeah, now. Okay, not now, but you've told me what you were eating in the past.
Yeah, when I was,
when you were an
teens.
athlete.
Yeah.
She was training for 5 hours a day, so she was eating for 15 people a day. So, something like that. Yeah. But anyway, so what happened with Kiss?
They were okay, but I didn't like Gene Simmons. I mean, he was very...
you didn't get along very well?
No, it didn't work out very well.
You had a bit of a
the TM
conflict
and the 2 managers and their crew were amazing. I mean, really nice guys and girls, and we had a really good cooperation back then. I mean, it's like almost 20 years ago. Almost, I don't remember, 18, something like that. And but I didn't like Jane because he was really, how can I say it? He was
pushy or
not pussy. Actually, he went to my assistant.
I didn't say pussy. I said pushy.
Yeah, I know.
It's different.
Yeah, I know. He did some weird comments about her breasts, and she started to cry.
She did?
Yes, she was a really nice girl from Netherlands, really polite and really civilized, and she came to me, was like, and I saw her crying, and I was like, well, what happened? And she told me what happened.
And you felt like defending her, and you attacked the guy?
As usual, yeah. I told him that, if he reads again to my assistant, he will be... Anyway, I don't want to...
So you were not starstruck by the guys we worked with just because it was Gene Simmons?
No, I never. Actually, for me, in my job, because I did that for 10 years and I worked with many bands and many rock stars.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like, they were special or something like that. I was treating to them like they're people. I was kind to them. I was trying to provide all, the requests, because this is what you do. If you have it written and your boss is, your company that you work with sign the papers, you have to be precise. Otherwise, you're gonna have problem, And that's why I don't have a picture with no one.
Yeah.
This is my main reason, because I was treating them like, how can I say it?
I get it, because, as you know, I also was a musician and have played with some big names in heavy metal, which was the music that we played. People are sometimes starstruck, but, everybody, totally everybody is just a normal person.
Yeah.
They're normal people, and they're not gods. They, their bodily smells, let's say, to put it, to kindly smell the same way everybody else smells. They don't smell like roses when they smell.
You know what? From my experience.
So, but no, I want you to tell me what Gene Simmons called you.
An Australian dyke. And that's why, because
that was one of the funniest things ever, by the way.
They had
he was like, "Who brought this Australian dyke or something?" I
was pissed off for the Australian.
Yeah, exactly. I would think the dyke part was funny, but why an Australian? What was Australian about?
I was like, I'm not from Australia. I'm Greek.
Yeah. So he called you an Australian dyke, and you got pissed off because he called you Australian.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, I'm not an Australian, I'm Greek dyke.
And he probably thought you were Australian because one of the security guys was...
No, that you're confusing the stories.
Okay.
They came with, they were on tour.
Yeah.
Their crew were mixed. Some of them were from the US and some of them were from Australia. That's why he thought I was from the guys from the Australian crew.
Right.
It was their own crew.
Yeah.
Not my crew. I mean, the guys.
Okay. So what about Lemmy from Motorhead?
I really liked Lemmy. He was totally a legend.
Lemmy, you told me that, somebody who doesn't know him thinks that he will be some kind of like a tough guy and very aggressive.
So polite,
but he was really polite and kind, yeah?
I remember because it was, as I told you, I used to work for many companies, agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working for Motorhead show and I was working for Placebo show at the same time.
Yeah.
So I had to go to the venue to set up some stuff for Placebo, and then I had to go to the airport to pick up Motorhead. I think because that was also one of my major jobs,
Taxi driver.
Not the taxi driver, because we had drivers with minivans and stuff.
Babysitter in the taxi.
I had to go there and,
make sure nobody gets lost.
And, I was the face for the ages. I mean, I was there to greet them and, to make the itinerary for the next day with the TM and take the band, take them to the hotel, and to be someone to welcome the crew and the band in my country. I mean, that was one of my main jobs. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was the Motorhead plane arrived at 3 in the morning, something like that. And also I remember that the TM of Motorhead was the same TM from Sepultura. So really, I knew the guy and we had a really good connection and we walked before and he was a really nice guy. And I remember I drove the whole band and the crew to the hotel in Thessaloniki. And the personal assistant of Lemmy, I don't remember his name, he was a really nice guy as well. He was with Lemmy the whole time. I mean, he was something like a nurse as well. I mean, he had some health issues with...
All right.
And anyway, and he came to me and he was like, hey, Zoe, Lemmy wants to go out.
Yeah, let's cut to the chase. So,
Yes.
did Lemmy want to go to the hookers or to...
No, just to, strip
just a strip club?
Yeah, strip club.
Okay.
So...
And you had to babysit him there as well?
But, I need kudos because I remember I was talking with my boss and I told him, if they want to go to the striptease club, we should book a hotel next to the striptease club. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Logistics.
Especially in the case of Lemmy, that would probably make a lot of sense to be right next to the strip club.
And we're like, 200 meters away. I mean, like next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So... when the moment that he told me that he wants to go to the strip club, it was like 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no problem, I called them because they were about to close and we're like, don't close, we're coming there with Lemmy. And I remember I asked Lemmy if he wanted to bring the car because I had a car specific for the band with the driver.
Yeah.
And he told me, no, we can walk there, it's okay, it's fine. I understand, it's really late. And me, Lemmy and his assistant went to the strip club at 4 in the morning. And fun fact, I remember, I know the guys from the club, they were friends of mine. And the moment we...
From the strip club?
Yeah.
Why were they friends with you?
Because I was going there very often.
Why were you going there very often? With the bands and everything?
Yeah.
That's an interesting part of that job.
Yeah. And the moment we went to the club, and some guys from, when they walk, if you ever been in a strip club,
mm-hmm.
usually the DJ booth is somewhere really, in a high place.
Yeah.
And the DJ saw Lemmy from the booth.
And he recognized him.
He wasn't sure because he called the manager of the place and he was next to me because he was a friend of mine.
Right.
And I heard the conversation like, hey, Kostas, there's a guy here, he looks exactly like Lemmy from Motorhead.
Guess why?
And he was like, guess what, motherfucker? So...
good stuff.
Yeah, and I remember we spent there like 3 hours, me and Lemmy and his assistant, and we drank Jack and Cola. It was his drink. Jack Daniels with
Jack
Coca-Cola.
Daniels with Coca-Cola.
He smoked a lot of Marlboros because it was back then, the smoking was allowed.
Yeah, smoking was allowed.
Yeah, smoking was allowed. And he was really kind. We had this, conversation about stuff, and his
What conversation did you have with Lemmy?
Just really ordinary stuff.
Space exploration?
No.
But it was all about. It was all about women or something.
Actually, the moment he ordered, they came with some girls, and he had some lap dances, and he asked me very kind, do you want me to buy you one as well? Lap dance. And I told him, no thank you, because I get those for free here. I'm a regular. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there are certain aspects of my wife that, women get confused about. Because I think women kind of tend to fall in love with you. Because...
I'm such a nice guy. Dyke.
Yeah.
I'm an Australian dyke.
That's probably the reason, because Gene Simmons called you a dyke, an Australian dyke.
Down under.
I think a lot of women get confused because you have certain characteristics which are, let's say, not commonly found in women.
Yeah, I'm tall.
You're tall like a guy. You are kind of fearless like a guy. You double as somebody who takes care of, the bands or whatever.
Yeah.
That's more female ability, let's say, that is women are good at taking care of other people. But at the same time, you're like security, which is a more male thing.
Yeah.
You're like undercover security.
I am actually.
Yeah.
I'm really good at it. I mean, I have...
And you kind of admit that, so women get confused sometimes. And kind of like you the same way that they would like a guy, but without the defenses they have towards a guy.
And that makes you gay, my friend.
Yeah, well, I guess you're the gayest thing I've ever done, to be honest.
Okay.
So yeah, what about some other celebrities that you had a fun story with? Didn't you have to look for somebody at some point? Somebody passed out and he had to perform and he was drunk or whatever, sleeping or...
He was, it was a black metal band. Oh no, it wasn't. It was from Therion, I guess.
Therion?
Yes.
Right.
There were...
The guy passed out?
One of the guys, and I remember we actually...
Did he drink?
I don't remember exactly, but I remember there were... everybody was on stage.
And they were looking for him?
And it was, just a few minutes before
before the concert, yeah.
Actually, they were playing the instrumental part. And the team came to me like, we're missing something. And they were like, what are you missing?
Somebody.
And we can find, that guy. I don't remember his name. And thank God, the hotel was like 2 minutes away, walking distance from the venue.
Paul Diano vibes.
Yeah, anyway, and I ran to the hotel and, and I found the guy and I brought him like, you're having go.
And he did perform after.
Yeah, he performed very well actually.
Yeah, interesting.
I think he confused a bit about the timeline. Anyway.
Yeah. I mentioned Paul Diano because I think that's the reason why they kicked him out of Iron Maiden. and my band actually, I worked with him. Because, well, didn't work with him.
Yeah.
We just opened his concert once.
But I know that he was a nice guy. I mean,
he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy. I just didn't like how he was drinking so much during the entire concert. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many bottles he drank on stage. And at the time his health wasn't perfect, so I was really wondering why he's doing that to himself. But so what other celebrities did you have a funny story with? I know it's many because you've told me quite a few, but let's say like the funniest or the most interesting ones.
Some stories are not funny. I mean, they were, back then when they happened, I was about to die. I mean,
like something was going wrong, and
every time. I mean, I've done like 200 gigs, and I can
200?
Yeah, in total.
Oh.
But if you ask me for it, I don't remember all the things that happened, but. I can tell you that every time something bad happens.
Like what happened with some very big name? Like what happened with some big name that was very concerning, let's say? Concerning
is, from my point of view, was... do you remember Archive? It's a UK band.
Archive?
Yeah, they're really popular. I mean, pop rock genre. I mean...
That's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah, but they're really big. I mean, they're doing a lot of concerts.
Yeah,
they used to be really big in Europe. And really nice guys.
Big in size?
Yes.
Okay.
And they had some equipment which... they flew here, I think, from UK. I don't remember from where. And
makes sense.
I don't remember. There are so many. I mean,
I don't think they swam here. Probably they flew. So what happened with after they flew?
They could, use a van or something.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And they had to play here in Thessaloniki. And afterwards, they had a show gig in Athens, and the gear. Should fit in a bus with them.
Yeah.
Which somehow, I mean, the organizers from Athens did something wrong, and they didn't bring the correct bus that to fit the whole.
To fit everybody and everything.
The equipment, and it was really tricky. And I remember, after the concert, I was me and Savas, the organizer from Thessaloniki. Trying to figure out how we managed to take the staff from Thessaloniki to Athens in 10 hours because they had to be there. And we were trying to find a cargo or something, but it was like 3 in the morning, so it's really difficult to find something. And we were in the highway stopping trucks, like. Hey, can I ask you something? Do you want to take this stuff?
From the stories you've told me, your job sounds similar to being a commando. Like you have to come
Yeah.
up with solutions all the time, and it's always tough, and it's always in inconvenient hours and inconvenient methods of paying somebody to carry something that you cannot find
Or
another
you
solution.
have to. I remember once I had to carry from my house an amplifier for a bus.
And
I mean, they had the problem with with the amplifier, and I was like, okay, I will drive home and I will bring you one.
Yeah, easy.
Or the other time, the other guy, I don't remember the band. I think it was Roxy Music. They wanted to wash their underwear, and I didn't find laundry services to do that. So I had to carry the dirty underwear to my house and I did the laundry.
Yeah.
The underwear.
I hope you just didn't smell it.
No. I didn't see and I didn't sell anything. Back then we didn't have eBay and stuff.
Right. That was a missed opportunity.
So, yeah.
What other big names did you work with?
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull were nice, weren't
Yeah. They were nice, yeah. Really nice guys.
they? Old guys.
Yeah. Nice guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Kiss as Kylie Minogue. Yeah. She was really nice. Really polite, really kind, really...
Possible. Just her music is completely
I had a really good time
uninteresting to me.
at her concert, which it's fun because back then I was really like into extreme kind of music. So I was listening only to black death metal and noise and really weird stuff. And I was dressed.
Why did you say noise twice? Yeah, you said black death metal. That is noise.
And I remember at Kylie's concert, she was on tour actually, and she had a huge show with a lot of dancers and stuff. And her, if I remember correct, Jean-Paul Gaultier, the fashion designer,
Yeah.
he did the whole. He designed the clothes for the whole tour. I mean, for her and for her dancers as well.
Yeah, I remember that story you told me.
And
Gaultier is like he's
he's a fashion
He's a
designer.
fashion designer.
Yeah, he's really
What?
famous. I mean,
he's really famous. Yeah,
He did-
even I know him. I think I know like 3 fashion designers by name.
yeah, Jean-Paul Gaultier. And I remember I was working, but
Yeah.
I used to dress up really, really weird, and had my piercings and my chokers and stuff.
In a gothic style.
In gothic style with my new rock boots and my.
Yeah, because you needed to look a little taller. You're not tall enough.
Yeah, exactly. That was the main purpose, and I was wearing my dissection shirts and my belts with the nails and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he came to me. He was like, "Oh, I really like your style," and I have a serious suspicion. I'm really suspicious that because of me, the gothic and black metal style is the mainstream now. Sorry, guys.
So,
I destroyed the whole genre. I mean, from the subculture, it became mainstream.
but he was crazy about you, yeah. Like,
He really
I
liked
really
me.
love you. I love you.
And he was like, "Oh, I really like your style," and I was like, "Thank you," And I was like,
It's very
Wow.
kind of you.
"Yeah."
He probably wanted you for a model, maybe, and
Who knows? Yeah,
I mean, you're tall. Especially back then, you were really thin. You've told me.
I was like 50 kilograms, and it was
50.
yeah.
50 is like my finger or something.
Back then I was doing all the thing with I was doing that performance things as well with bands like
Dancing, yeah.
not dancing. It was more like performance I did for Arcturus and
But you were dressed. Just to make that clear.
Yeah, you can say so. Dressed. Yeah, I was dressed, but not very.
Well, the ones I've seen, you were fully clothed.
I was wearing.
You were not in skimpy clothes, let's say.
No, I was wearing clothes. But for example, in the Arcturus gig, I was wearing like white underwear, but we were wrapped up in gauze and
Like a mummy.
like a mummy, like something like that, and we were wearing crinolines and.
So one of the many things you've done was being a dancer. But,
No, no,
but not in the way Americans mean dancer.
I wasn't
Not in
dancing.
that way.
I just did few
Just literally dancing.
performances for some bands. I mean, it started with.
But it was kind of dancing.
Yeah, we had dancing as
Were
well.
you doing vocals as well or something?
No, we just.
You got a nice voice. You could have done
Really?
vocals. Yeah.
You think so? I have a good. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
You're so kind. Maybe because you love me.
Yeah, I probably am a bit biased. I
You're
probably am a little
Or
biased.
maybe it's that heat in your head from a tournament.
That also could be it.
Yeah, my perfect chord in your head.
Also possible.
Yeah. So.
Well, hello again.
Hi.
How did we change clothes? What happened? Yeah, like that. So what happened is this is the next day basically, and after yesterday I also decided it's a little chilly and I put on a yeah. So the problem is we did record a lot more yesterday, but we lost the footage because the phone that we're using to record ran out of space. So now we're gonna do it again. We're gonna go again. Don't worry, you won't miss anything. Just we lost a couple of hours from our life. We talked a lot about the concerts and about the celebrities. So let's talk about sports and what you were pretty sporty when you were younger, especially.
Still, I am sporty.
Yeah, but back then you were training how much? 5 hours a day?
Yeah, probably.
On the track?
I
running?
was after elementary school. Went to a sports school. That's why we had to do sports as it was like in the curriculum. I mean, we had to do it. So, and yeah, I did a lot of. I was a long distance runner actually.
A long distance or a medium distance?
No, long distance, but I did a bit of.
Long distance is marathon, isn't it?
Yeah, but we consider also as after the 1,000 meters, you are considered as a long distance runner.
You were running more than 1,000 meters.
Yeah, actually.
Wasn't it mostly 400 meters?
No. Mostly I did was like 1,000 and 2,000 meters and I think 1,500. I don't remember very well. I mean, I'm old.
Give me a break. So, how much did you eat back then? Because that sounds like you need to eat a lot to do that.
Beside the track as well, I did basketball as well, back then. So, and yeah, of course, I had to eat a lot because my schedule was really demanding. I mean, I was doing sports every day. I mean, every day, even on Sundays. So I was.
Sundays a day too.
Yeah, usually you don't do any training on Sundays. I mean, you take a break.
Right.
And I used to eat a lot. I was a teenager as well. That explains a lot.
Do you want to give some examples about how much is a lot? Because people might think that you ate 2 portions of food instead of 1.
I think the major thing was that I was really, really skinny. I mean, I was a thin girl. I mean, and that's why the people were shocked when about how much food I was able to consume. I mean, on daily basis.
But,
I was eating like
So
maybe.
what was that 50 kilogram, 180? 1 meter and 80 centimeters, 50 kilogram girl was eating?
Like, I could eat like 3 family size pizzas, I mean the small ones. Now I can eat only 1.
I cannot even eat 1 now.
Yeah, back then it was like 3 of them, and I was drinking a lot of milk, I mean like 5 liters. This is more than...
5 liters a day?
Yeah.
5 liters. How much is that in gallons? 2
it's
gallons?
1 gallon and something. I mean,
yeah.
1 gallon is almost 4 liters.
Right.
So it was more than a gallon. And what else? I was able to eat like a whole pot of pasta. I mean, like for breakfast.
the physics don't make sense.
I mean, the physics don't physics.
If you're like that and you eat all that food, where does it go?
We have no idea.
Does it start at your toes and reaches up to your head or something, and everything is filled inside? How does that work?
If I remember correct, my parents, I think I did some medical exams because they were concerned because I was eating so much and I didn't gain any weight.
Yeah.
So they did ran some tests on me, and even the doctors were really confused when they found out what I was eating.
Yeah, and so you didn't have any kind of parasite?
No, I didn't. But I did that as well.
Yeah,
Make sure.
I had the same problem. I was not eating quite as much as you did, but I was eating a lot as well, and I was not getting fat. My parents were also concerned about that. So I think the root of the problem is having a nuclear reactor in your stomach or something, some kind of weird metabolism like that.
I think was working over time.
That changes, by the way, over
Yeah.
time. It's changing now, so yeah. And back then you also, apart from the competitions, you took part in running. By the way, what was the appeal for you? What was the appeal of running? Why did you want to do running and not shot put or any other javelin, whatever?
I think the major fact that led me to be a runner was that I was in love with Chitara from Thundercats. I really like her.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be, back then when I was like 10 years old, I wanted to be
As fast
as her. So I thought that, okay, if I want to be like so fast, I have to do a lot of running.
Wasn't she supposed to run on 4 legs? That's how cheetahs do it.
Nah.
So why was she running on 2?
She's the Thundercats. She's not a cheetah. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, you like Thundercats as well.
I like Thundercats, but I have to admit the biggest appeal of Thundercats for me was swords, because they had swords.
Yeah, they had swords.
He-Man had swords. There were so many sword stuff back then. There was also that comic book, Captain Mark and the Wolves of Ontario, with that guy in Ontario in Canada, and he's fighting against the British, and he's got a ragtag band of rebels, let's say, and they're using sabers, of course. So there were a lot more swords in cartoons and comic books back then than now. There was also, Conan the Barbarian was also a big deal. In America, it was published as the Savage Sword of Conan, but here it was just Conan, I think, or something. I think it was about copyright issues.
Plain Conan.
Yeah. And they were taking stories from all around. From Howard's books and everything. It was just random. Too many swords back then, and now I see what cartoons and comic books kids have, and it's all nonsense. There's so little really real sword, let's say, content in their books and in their cartoons. I don't know, it's a sign of decline for me, sign of the times.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were lucky in that sense.
I guess.
Thundercats. And you also participated in something called Games Without Borders. It's actually French. They shoot it in France.
No, they don't shoot it in France. Every time they choose a different location.
Ah.
So when I think the point is to change countries and to for the audience to get familiar with those countries.
So you go to the different countries?
Yeah, actually.
I thought that they just show videos from different countries and then they shoot
that's
in
a part
France.
of the games as well. This is the main purpose. For other Europeans to get in touch with different countries and cities. This is the main fact.
Yeah. So every time they choose a different city. There are some specific countries that play every time.
I think sometimes.
Right.
I think it could
some
change.
Yes.
But
some are the same.
Like France. I think.
France, Italy.
Italy. Yeah.
And they choose a different city from every country every time, though. So. And there is one city which is the host. I thought that they do it in France, and that city is just the highlight, and they just show videos from it. But apparently, they do it in that city, and they shoot in that city. And it was one time that it was Caterini, and you were there.
My hometown, Caterini.
So where did you go?
We went to Italy
To Italy.
in the south part, near to Sicily. We
Near
were
Sicily.
in Catanzaro, in Crotone, you know, where the
Oh,
Pythagoreans
yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really nice place. I mean, really.
Yeah, that's where the Pythagoreans had their school.
Yeah, exactly. So
Before the peasants killed them.
anyway,
I'm laughing, but it's a sad thing that happened. It's one of the saddest things in history. But anyway.
yeah, we were talking about the games. I mean,
But games, yeah, nobody killed anybody in the games.
yeah.
And that's the first time I saw you.
Back in 1999.
A lot of times our paths crossed before we knew each other. We kind of spotted like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
The first time I saw you though was in that episode because I remember watching it on TV. Yeah.
You
And,
were like 15 years old. I mean,
yeah.
you were.
And I was at my grandfather's house actually, and I was watching that episode, and I was like, "Oh, Caterini, wow!"
Oh, wow! Yeah.
And then I saw you guys, and I was very excited about it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, it was a nice experience. So, you know,
I just even got a strange supernatural kind of feeling.
because of me.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I guess now, but I didn't know then.
Now you know.
Maybe it was prophetic in some way. It was a weird kind of feeling. It wasn't that what you're thinking, but it was just a feeling.
Oh, God.
It's a feeling, not a feeling, a real feeling. But anyway, yeah. So you played in. Not everybody plays in every game. Right?
Actually, you are not able to choose which
Yeah.
athlete will play where. So they do.
So the swimmer doesn't go to the swimming,
It's a
and the
random,
runner to the running,
yeah, exactly.
and the climber to
And
the
this
climbing.
is
So that makes it funny.
this is the thing that makes the games funny, because when we went there, we were a team of really good athletes. I mean, we had climbers, we had swimmers, we had people that they were doing extreme sports like skateboard and stuff.
And then the swimmer had to climb.
Yes.
And the runner had to swim. And everything was mixed up.
So everything was, really.
And you had to balance on a wet corridor when people were poking you with some
They were
sticks
poking us, and also
and falling into that pool.
the
was fun.
the bridge was
That was
just 2 ropes with some wooden boards. It was really slippery,
yeah.
because it was wet. So, and we were wearing those funny costumes
Yeah, to make it.
to make it difficult. I mean,
Difficult.
if you were doing we did a rehearsal the day before, and we managed to be first. I mean, we won.
And you were 50 kilos back then, right?
Yeah.
So if you wear that costume, it affects you more than somebody who is 100 kilos. Because the costume is the same size approximately.
It wasn't heavy from the beginning, but the moment you fall into the water, it was like a sponge. So
Yeah.
all
that's
of
what
a
I mean.
sudden,
That's what I mean. For a 50 kilo person, the weight of the costume with the water is, which is the same for somebody who's 100 kilos, proportionately, it's 2 times as difficult for you than for somebody else. But now that I think of it, maybe that's why you were a good runner. 50 kilos. If the wind was good that day,
yeah, exactly.
it was really pushing you, like you were, wow.
Yeah, we used to make those jokes. I mean, like, okay, you had a good wind, that's why you won. It was
Well, it's a joke, but at the same time, it's also true that it does help. It doesn't help so dramatically, but
Actually,
in long distance especially, it should help a lot.
it could boost your performance in
Yeah,
total.
yeah.
I mean,
It makes it easier to run.
if you have it against you,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's difficult.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
at the same time, you have it against you because I also had long hair. When you have long hair, having it against you is actually good for the hair not getting in your face.
you know what? You can tie your hair up.
Yeah, I
So
know. Just saying, there is also an advantage to having it in your face.
no.
That's what I'm saying. In terms of hair, not of performance.
No.
But yeah, so in that game, the
We
thing
sucked.
from Caterini
Yeah.
kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It's been printed in my brain how you were falling in the water all the time.
Yeah.
When people were poking you with those sticks, the thing was Robin Hood and
I think they were dressed up like monks. Like
so it was Little John.
Little John with
the quarterstaff.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny.
Yeah.
Actually, we had to hold the quarterstaff with something to make balance.
Right, but they were using those sticks to push.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But you did well in the other game that you played, where you were in a cauldron.
It was a cauldron. The theme was we were like explorers, and we were into a cauldron, and we were about to be eaten by cannibals. That was
Yeah,
the thing.
and you were trying to escape
we
inside
were
the
trying
cauldron
to-
without getting out?
Exactly, and we were 4 people in. It was like I think
Four people. It was 4.
we were 4 people.
Inside
The cauldron was like something like foamy material, I guess. I'm not quite sure.
foamy bag.
It was something like between bag and foam, I think.
Yeah.
And it was funny because actually we played the Joker. If I don't know if you remember, you had
That you got extra points when you played.
exactly.
That. Yeah,
If you choose one game where you feel
you think that you will do well.
yes, you play the Joker, so
You get double points.
You get double points.
And you got first place. Not bad.
Yes, actually we were first, and we had a huge distance from the second one.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I remember how excited you were at the end.
Yeah.
You gave the team gave a small interview, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We're flying. We're not jumping. We're flying.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so the concept was you're jumping with the cauldron. So
Yes.
that's the way to escape
You know,
getting cooked by cannibals.
We
So
managed
anybody
to.
who gets caught by cannibals, just keep that in mind. That's the right way to escape. Don't try to get out of the cauldron. Just stay inside. Try to jump.
But don't jump forward. This is the thing that we make the difference, because all the other teams were jumping forward
Yeah.
with the bag, the cauldron bag. You have to do a small jump backwards, and then you jump forward.
Ah.
And if you notice on the video,
Yeah.
you can see it clearly. And this is the thing that
That's the trick.
yes. And we
But you
managed.
also had good coordination.
And we were lucky because we were 4 people, and 3 of us we were the best in that game
Yeah,
from
you
the
were
beginning. So
really going
we were
fast.
lucky.
I remember there was a
Yeah.
huge difference from the other teams.
Yeah.
So that was very impressive. By the way, if there are any cannibals watching this now, just make sure to put people in the oven, close the door or something,
Yeah,
just
or
because
the-
cauldrons are not safe, as you understand. People can take them and jump away. So
Or
that
put
was
the
that was
lid
fun.
on.
Yeah, put the lid on something. Just try to find a
Do
way.
not stir.
Yeah, do not.
Oh.
So, let's move to Tolkien and other silly things. I like Tolkien too. I probably read Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit more times than you have. I must have read it about 15 times when I was a teenager. So, but you are somehow, how can I say? You are very fanatical about Tolkien.
Yes.
Very,
Let me elaborate. I have Silmarillion first edition. Okay.
what's the point? To say
What's the point?
it writes the same things inside.
No, it's first edition, and
So what? It's older.
yes.
It will break
First
down
edition.
faster. It will break down sooner.
Yeah. What else? I'm obsessed with Tolkien since I don't remember when. I mean, I was a little kid back then, and I was really into the fantasy genre of. Of everything. I like Zelda as well. The games.
Yeah, let's not go into that so much.
Yeah. However, Tolkien is one of my favorite authors, and I went to Oxford to his grave. I visit the pub he used to hang out with Carol Lewis, if I remember correct. And anyway, I like Tolkien a lot. That's why when we baptize our kids, they dressed up like hobbits, of course.
Well, I agreed to that because I thought it's actually funny.
Yeah.
Because
The little
they
hobbits.
kind of looked like hobbits, so we just put the clothes on them
Yeah.
as well. They had the capes and everything.
And
and
the
feet.
little brooches with the mouth.
Yeah.
And
It was funny. It was, but that's beside the point. The point is,
we love Tolkien in that household.
I mean, Tolkien is nice, and I was a big fan of everything he wrote and all that. But why? You said that you're not starstruck by rock stars, but why with Tolkien? He's also human.
He's a human, but I
Why
consider
worship
Tolkien
him
like
as a
my
god?
grandfather. No, he's not the god. I consider Tolkien, he's like my grandfather, and he's... I don't know how to put it in words. I mean, I feel related to him. I mean, I love him like a grandfather.
I had a great relationship with my grandfather. Let me tell you, I was not going to every place he went to and worship the place as if it was a holy place.
Okay, maybe we can overdo some things. I mean, I know that you're really pissed off with the kids that they know Tolkien's birthday because we celebrate
because
Tolkien's
of you,
birthday.
because of her, our kids know Tolkien's birthday because we celebrate it.
Yeah.
They celebrate it.
We do a small hobby.
I just coexist in the same house at the time, and they know Tolkien's birthday, and they don't know their dad's, which is me. So, yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and also one of my brightest moments of piloting skills was that Perseus, our youngest one, who was 1 year and a half back then, he saw Lord of the Rings and he was obsessed with the Gandalf and Balrog scene.
Yeah.
You remember him? With
Yeah,
his
that was
stick?
funny. That was funny.
You shall not pass.
His siblings were watching Lord of the Rings, and he saw the scene with
The Balrog and Gandalf.
with Gandalf and the Balrog.
Yeah.
The "You shall not pass," everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So he goes and finds
A broomstick.
a broomstick. It was, and that becomes his stuff. And all day long he's doing
Pass!
pa pa,
Yeah,
and he's hitting it on the ground.
Yeah,
He was 1.5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. He
that's
was
really-
just barely
really-
walking. I mean, he didn't even talk. I mean, he knew how to say
That was funny.
pass
That was funny.
and strike the staff of the broomstick.
And then he was taking some.
The Super Mario
Yeah.
puppet and the one dinosaur thing, and
Yeah.
he was doing the Balrog and Gandalf fight.
Super Mario dolls. He
Yeah.
has a couple of Super Mario dolls, and he was taking the Super Mario and doing the fight between the Balrog and Gandalf as they were falling
with
down.
the sound. Like,
Yeah, with the sound, of course. He was making sounds as well.
And-
That was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you also like Zelda, I hear.
I think I have a thing about this archetype of the hero. I think it's my thing.
That's how you're gonna twist it now.
Yes.
The real story behind that is that she's one of those console plebs. Console plebs.
No.
And of course, we are part of the computer gaming aristocracy. And
Yeah.
console plebs, of course, they were spending more money. So it was like, I don't wanna frame anybody in particular like that, but console plebs, it looks like, it gives the impression of dumber people with more money. Because they paid more money for the same thing, and the console was just foolproof and like kind of for dummies. You play in a console, you don't need to do much, just put the cassette in and play. While with computer, you needed at least to, back then with MS-DOS, you needed to know how to write a few commands and stuff. But you could play everything, almost. Except for
From Zelda.
Nintendo's crap, which was exclusive to
Zelda and Mario.
Nintendo devices.
Yeah.
Which was, pretty, it was an asshole move by them, I have to say.
I think it was a very good move by them because with that they managed to keep it the lore really okay. I mean, it's always the same people that are involved in the Zelda and the Mario
That's
stuff.
if they have the rights, they could do it even if it was on computer as well.
We don't care.
The real reason they did it is because they wanted to have a monopoly on their Zelda products and
We love
and
Nintendo.
Mario as well.
I love Nintendo.
But it's okay. I mean, there were some knockoffs. For example, Mario Kart was very popular, of course, with Nintendo. There was a game called Wacky Wheels. You should find that one. That was fun. That was basically a Mario Kart knockoff. Kind of. But a bit different. It was all the drivers were animals, and they had different abilities and stuff. There were no Mario animals or whatever.
I think about regarding the console stuff. I mean, I'm a bit older than you, so when
That's just 4 years.
yes, but back then it wasn't common to have a PC. I mean, it was really difficult to have one. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
And I was able to have an NES because we used to spend a lot of time in Germany, and it was easy for me to have access in games as well.
Yeah.
When Zelda was released, I was like in the early. I was like 1986, 1987. I was really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love immediately. I mean, with the gameplay, with the music. I remember living, with it was 8 bits. I mean, 8-bit games.
I have to admit that
Yeah.
for the time that it was published,
Yeah.
an open world game like Zelda was
Yeah.
completely revolutionary.
Exactly.
It was almost unbelievable.
I think it was the first RPG on consoles, I think. Probably on PCs as well.
But you know, my point is PCs are better
Of course, they're better.
because you can play with the mouse and the keyboard, which a lot of games are better if you play them
don't
like
care.
that. I mean, it's almost as you have some kind of mental problem if you're using a controller.
We have mental problems.
A controller to play games with shooting and stuff. Like you're trying to. I mean, you need a mouse. Just mouse goes where you want to shoot, and then you shoot instead of trying to figure out with the crosses and the stuff where it goes. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I can understand it with racing games, and if you really want to play with a controller, you can still put it on a computer. But when I see people playing Skyrim with a controller on a console, that's so dumb. That's so stupid. That's terrible. You cannot also use mods. That's another thing. I mean, computers.
Nope.
That's much better.
Nope.
Whatever. Whatever.
Nope.
You know I'm right and you're wrong.
I don't care. I love Zelda. The end.
Yeah. I kind of noticed because you made the kids' room look like it came out of Zelda
Yeah.
with the paintings and the decorations.
Actually, the kids' room is inspired by Link's house from the Twilight Princess. So we did a bit of rip-off from there. You know?
Right. Good to know.
And the kids love Zelda. I mean, especially the girls.
Yeah, it's because of you though.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. That's your fault.
That
should
my
never have
good
happened.
parenting skills. Our kids,
It shouldn't have happened.
they know about Tolkien. They know about Zelda. All the basic stuff.
There is Skyrim nowadays. There is Fallout. There's so much stuff that is better.
I'm not saying that those, I would love to play Skyrim, but I don't have the time now to do so. But I love Zelda. It's totally different.
Yeah, I think we established that.
Yeah.
I think we get that.
Yes.
So musical preferences.
Yeah. Zelda.
Why do you like bad music?
I like good music. Don't be. No.
So what were you saying that when we recorded it before? It was. So what music do you like and why is it bad? That was the original question. You thought it's funny the first time.
Yeah.
Now you heard it, so you're not
Yeah.
laughing anymore. So we're talking about music.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start with heavy metal and music?
With music, I mean.
Musical preferences.
When I was 5 years old, I started playing the piano. That's why I was into classical music. I'm still enjoying classical music.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like to listening to soundtracks from video games, like
Yeah.
Zelda.
These things play on a loop for 10 hours a day.
Actually, I play Trine on loop. I like really
and
Trine.
other things. Yeah.
And-
They're not bad, but after
Skyrim
after
as
10
well.
hours.
I like to play Skyrim as well.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to mostly.
Too bad you never played actual Skyrim.
Yeah, I know. But
It's also
who
got the
knows?
music inside.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I was like 8 years old when I was into mainstream rock music. I mean, my uncle. You remember my uncle?
Yeah.
He used to record tapes.
Yeah.
With like Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones. I mean, all the Animals, all the stuff. They
That
were
was
really,
popular
really popular in the
way
70s.
back then.
Yes.
Way back.
And but that was the entry point for me, because I was like in the elementary school. I was listening to really basic mainstream rock music.
Yeah.
And when I was in 11 years old to 12, in the Greek high school, because we call it high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to listening to Maiden. I mean, Iron Maiden is a really basic band. I mean, for all the metalheads that I know, this is the entryway.
By the way, for people who are really young and are listening to this, it might sound like we're talking about ancient relics here,
Yeah.
which was cassettes. Cassette. What is a cassette? I mean, I saw a post somewhere of some kid who saw the icon. Saw a floppy disk.
Yeah.
A floppy disk, and made a post somewhere on social media saying that I cannot believe they made a 3D printed copy of the save symbol from the computer.
Huh. Yeah.
I was so amazed because those kids have never seen a floppy disk and they think it's the save symbol from the computer. Well, of course, it's the other way around. And the cassettes were also a symbol of the past. A lot of kids have never seen one. They barely have seen a CD, maybe, or a vinyl record. Yeah, record.
Yeah.
But back then it was an easy way to transfer music from one person to another, because you could choose what songs to write in a cassette, and it was the entryway of many people to many kinds of music. Was just by at some point getting a cassette because it was cheap and easy to make. Getting a cassette from somebody else who had written some songs for them, and that was the beginning. That's how I got into metal. I got a cassette
From your cousin?
No. It was the first cassette I got was actually from just a friend from school,
Okay, I thought it was from your
and
cousin.
it was Power Slave.
Power Slave.
Yeah, that was my
Not
first.
Maiden, I mean, really.
Yeah, Maiden. That was my first metal band. as well.
Always.
I just was stunned by Power Slave, and that's how I got into metal. Then I got from my cousin. I got everything, and yeah.
You
I
know,
started,
back then when it was early 90s, I mean, it was really, the metal scene was really growing back then. I mean, it was just the early years, if you can say so. I mean, and I was into Maiden and Metallica and stuff until I jumped into, actually, I was listening a lot of, I really liked Running Wild, which is a paradox. Because I don't like power metal.
Yeah, the previous time we were recording this, you went on a tangent about how black metal and death metal are great and how power metal is stupid.
Yes.
And I asked you, weren't you into Halloween? And
I like Halloween.
And Running Wild.
I like
and
the
Blind
Keepers.
Guardian.
I like Running
and
Wild.
Stuff like that. And she was.
Yeah, but I think I like specific albums. I mean, I liked the Keepers from Halloween. I liked Port Royal and Under Jolly Roger from Running Wild.
That's the case with every band.
Yeah.
You seldom like everything from a band.
Yeah.
My favorite band I like everything from, which is Iron Maiden.
Oh,
but
you like everything from Iron Maiden?
I actually do.
No, I don't.
That's a difference.
I don't.
Us.
And I love Maiden. I mean,
I know.
I saw them many times live.
I just like it in a different way. Even the ones with Bailey, who is objectively not a good singer.
Yeah.
I still like them, and I still even like his singing. I know it sounds strange, especially being a metal singer, how I can say that, but I just like it. It's got some character and it fits him somehow, and it somehow makes sense. I cannot describe it, but there is some. There is another example, which is Gravedigger. You never went into Gravedigger. No. The singer is probably the worst singer I've heard in metal, but I like his singing. I don't like it as good singing, or he doesn't sing, on point or something.
But it fits for the specific.
It just matches the
vibe,
the themes of the songs, and the lyrics, and the vibe, and the sound.
And here, I can add that yesterday when we talked about it, and I told you about how much I like the Mulehine Beneath the Cloud, and you make jokes about them. I think it's something similar. I mean, Alsbeth's voice really makes sense with the music that they're playing and the lyrics and stuff. I mean, for me, it works.
In that case, I haven't seen that, but that's just me.
Yeah, because you haven't dived, through their concept, and they have this medieval industrial silvery thing going on.
I mean the lyrics I saw were nice.
The lyrics are amazing.
Yeah, they're good.
And I really like how Alsbeth put her voice.
It just ruins my ear. If everybody's playing tuned right and the singer is singing somewhat off, I can kind of get it. But if everybody is not tuned, and it's playing off every instrument. It just ruins my ears
It
somehow.
was
It's
on
just,
purpose. I mean, that was the thing. This is how it's supposed to be. I mean, they were really good musicians.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose. Anyway, we were talking about the metal things. So I was into the basic metal, as I'm like to say, and then I started to listening to more aggressive things, had some more potential and Slayer and stuff, because it was how can I say it? It was my generation's music. They start to growing back then. All that.
I don't think it has to do with a specific generation.
Maybe
it has to do with the specific people that were your friends at the time.
Yeah, probably.
Something like that.
And we used to go to the concerts together. I mean, it was we were like a tribe.
But I just noticed like there is a bit of a dichotomy in metal, and people just they usually either go to the power metal spectrum and that side after they start listening to metal, or to the more heavy side. And a correlation which I have seen many times, although it's not 100% of course, is that people who start with Maiden, they usually tend to go towards the more the more melodic and power metal side.
Really?
And people who start with Metallica, they tend to go more towards the heavy stuff.
It's funny because I think I started with Metallica and Maiden at the same time.
That's why you were listening both, but then chose more the more black and death metal side.
I really like this.
Just because you were maybe too hungry.
I don't know, maybe, but I really like the whole thing of the aesthetics and the music and the vibe. I really like the whole thing, and I can appreciate the music. I mean, for me, it was like opera. I mean, opera is not for everybody.
Yeah.
You have to train your ear.
I can appreciate some, by the way.
You like Timo Borger?
As you can.
Well,
I don't exactly like
and
them. I can listen to them pleasantly. It's not like I'm a fan.
You like Abbath or you like? What do you prefer?
What do you mean? What do you prefer between what?
Yeah, I remember we talked about Timo Borger and how much you liked Abbath and
Immortal.
From Immortal, yes. So
yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm not into black and death metal so much. However, even I can appreciate some bands because usually those bands have very nice melodic lines. That's one thing I can appreciate. Or they have very nice lyrics. Or in the case of Amon Amarth, for example, Amon Amarth I really like, even though it's not my kind of singing that I like. But it really matches their style, and I can appreciate the lyrics, and the whole thing it fits together so well that I can say I am an Amon Amarth fan.
Yeah.
Immortal, I do like Immortal. I do like a few songs from them. I cannot listen to them for hours, but I can appreciate some songs that they made. And by the way, Abbath is a really cool guy. I'd like to meet him at some point and just go out for beers.
I haven't met him. I mean,
he's really funny and he's so down to earth. It's very very refreshing.
You know what? I can make here. I can tell you about because I was working in concerts, and I can tell the band they were into more extreme genres. They were the funniest and the more kind people. Usually,
I have to be honest. I also have noticed that.
Yeah.
So you see, especially you get both kinds in extreme metal, but especially black metal guys. They usually are very nice.
Yeah.
You see them being the exact opposite on stage and trying to look scary.
And death metal as well.
When somebody tries to look scary, usually it's got an inferiority complex. But in their case,
they're fun guys.
They're just fun guys to be around, and they're very chill guys and very good guys usually. It's a paradox. It's a strange thing. And what else? I mean, there were some black and death metal things that I've listened to through the years that I said, okay, that's good, I like that. But the thing I don't like in the extreme kinds of metal is that it's a bit like your ears get desensitized by the intensity of just proper metal. And the more that happens, the more you need something heavier and heavier and heavier to just feel the same excitement again. And it ends up just you being totally desensitized and just needing complete noise and complete nonsense, musical nonsense to just get a stimulus. While on the other side, with power metal, because there's melody and because there's actual lyrics, which are not talking about the bullshit that most death and black metal bands are talking about, with some exceptions, of course. Because the lyrics are usually more philosophical and more interesting. That can actually keep you there and stimulate you, and the music is melodic, so that can also stimulate you. The singing is also more difficult and more technical, and that can stimulate you, especially if you're a singer and you can appreciate that. But even if you're not, we recently saw Domine, and you were very impressed by the singer.
Yeah, because I like classical
because you're
music.
60 years old and you could sing anything.
You know what?
The crazy range.
I think you're just missing the point that I really like classical music and I'm really listening. I like opera a lot.
Yeah.
So even when I was into extreme kinds of music like black metal or power noise or I don't know, industrial stuff, I always like to listening to Dead Can Dance and Arcana and neoclassical stuff and more. More operatic stuff as well with really nice voices. I mean, I used to listening to both, so it was balancing me. I mean, I had this urge of more aggressive and more powerful music, but I had that soft side as well to listen to more angelic and more heavenly music as well.
By the way, because she mentioned industrial music. For any of you people out there who are into industrial music, I really have a life hack for you. It's gonna change your life and save you a lot of money. You can just go any day of the week. Any day of the week there is a concert for free. You can just go to any factory and just listen to the machines working and making a lot of noise and just shake your head as if it's music. And it's it's for free. You can do it for free. It's a concert every day.
That's why I didn't like you when I first met you.
Because I'm saying the truth.
No, because you're obnoxious. You're obnoxious and arrogant.
Come on, a lot of stuff in industrial is really not music. You have to admit.
You have to admit that you're missing a lot of points.
You just have to really, really try to believe that it's music to make it be.
Come on, SPK, the other day, you liked that song that I was listening to.
Don't even remember that name. Maybe I heard something
that
I liked.
You asked me, we were listeing to the song during the drive.
I don't say that I'm perfect.
So?
Yes. Music, great. Let's talk about life in nature. Do you like to live in nature as we do now, or would you rather?
Yes, I do.
Would you rather go to a city, back to a city like we did for most of our lives?
No, thank you. Even when I was in the city and I was working, in concerts, I remember I was every time I was working and everything was falling apart, I was yelling to my crew like, "I'm going to move back in the village and I'm going to live up in the mountains far away from you." And this is what I did.
Technically, you were not coming from a village.
No.
You were from Katerini.
Yeah.
Even though the first four, what did I said? I said the forest.
The forest. Yeah, it's a new word.
It's not a new word. It's not a new word.
The forest.
I lived for 3 to 4 months in Dublin, in Ireland.
So this is how you say.
That's how they say first. They say forest.
Okay. And you pick up the accent. So.
Well, I am familiar with it.
Yeah, you're familiar with it.
After 4 months, I thought that I could understand the Irish. Okay. Finally, that I could understand them when they speak.
There is
then I was in a fish and chips, and I heard 2 guys from Cork speaking to each other, and immediately I was just everything was crushed. There was no hope of understanding that. Forced. Have I told you? That's a bit of a segue, but have I told you about my first day in Ireland when I got in a taxi and I was trying to find an address?
No, because we were talking about the life in nature.
Yeah, I was trying to find an address, and the address was what was it? 13 Thornhill Road.
Like
And I was trying to say that to the taxi driver. He was, what?
he goes
13 Thornhill Road. What? I showed it to him and he's like, oh, Thornhill Road.
It's like when Παρσιάς δεν λύσαν το στόλο.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that.
Yes.
Yeah, go there.
Yeah. Go, you go there.
Yeah, that was my first day in Ireland. That was, the rest of the days were similar, by the way. It was not much change, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, but we were talking about life in nature.
Yeah. We were talking when we
And
did
that, and that you actually did not, I mean, first 4 years of your life, you were an American.
Yep.
You lived in
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. That's where you grew up, basically, until you were 4.
I think I was a bit less, I think, than 4.
And I'm always teasing her, like, when she speaks in English, I'm like, come on, do a Georgia accent. But she cannot do it anymore, because she was too young and she forgot it. But I'm trying to teach her about it, but she just lost that ability now. It's too late. I should have met her when she was that young.
Nope.
But I wasn't born then, so.
Yeah.
I actually got born when you came to Greece.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you came to Greece.
That's why I came back.
Yeah.
I knew.
And then you lived in Katerini,
We lived in Katerini because
which is a city.
it's a small city.
But
a very small city.
It's not like Thessaloniki or Athens. It's a city which is, well, smaller than those, because they're the two biggest ones in Greece. But it kind of looks like a big village.
No.
And everybody knows each other. It really does. I don't know what she's talking about. It really does. It's got parks and a huge pedestrian road right in the middle of it.
But
and
then it wasn't like
the
that.
distances, you can be, in 5 minutes you can be anywhere with a car. Anywhere in
That's
Katerini,
true.
from anywhere in Katerini. That's really small.
It's a
That's
small town.
very friendly and you know everybody in Katerini. I mean, come on.
I know everybody.
Yeah,
Not everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. But my point is, it's a big village.
Yeah, it's a city. It's a small city, but it's a city. I mean, it's totally different from the village. I mean, it's totally different. I mean, we don't have a grocery store here. We have to drive like 5 kilometers away to.
Yeah. Well,
But I mean, for America, this is funny.
Here there are 200 residents where we live. We're literally in the forest. It's right at the edge of civilization.
And
that's where we wanted to be.
yeah, but the thing was that even though I grew up in a small city, and then when I was old, I moved to Thessaloniki for many years, and used to have this lifestyle with the gigs and the rock star lifestyle. I mean,
Be a bit louder, please.
sorry, yeah.
Microphone doesn't.
I always wanted to be in nature. I mean, since I was a kid. I mean, I think all kids prefer nature. So it's something like really natural into them.
To be honest, when I was a kid, and I was born and raised in Thessaloniki for the first 12 years of my life. Thessaloniki is the second biggest city in Greece, so it's a city, and it's not even that well built with parks and everything. It's got some parks, but for the most part, it's just buildings, just
really crowded.
housing buildings, very crowded. But I really loved my childhood. I mean, it was like a concrete jungle in our mind, and there was always adventure, and we were running behind the buildings and climbing and playing sports. When you're a kid, I think if you have a good imagination and you're still pure and untainted from the world, you can find beauty in unlikely places.
Actually, you were lucky because you were raised in a part of Thessaloniki where is a really big park, and there is a lot of houses there as well. I mean, you had a place a bit more. How can I say? Not in. With only.
It really wasn't one of the very good parts of Thessaloniki. It's just the medium part of Thessaloniki.
I didn't say that it was one of the best parts.
It
has
some
these village
playgrounds and stuff.
qualities. I mean,
back then it had. Now it's actually overbuilt.
But I'm talking about like 30 years ago.
Yeah. Back then it surely was different.
It was like a village.
Yeah, it kind of was in a lot of areas. Yeah. But even what I'm trying to say is, even back then, that I liked living in the city. It's not like I hated it or something. I really liked
I
it.
didn't like to live in the city. I mean,
Even back then, I really enjoyed going to nature. When we're going for a road trip or going to nature somewhere on a mountain or in a forest, that was my best thing.
I think we had exactly the same upbringing. I mean, we used to go, because we're from the Olympus region as well. We were lucky. I mean, my village is in Olympus.
It's right next to it.
It's Olympus.
Yeah.
So, and we were raised like this.
Yeah.
And I remember in my mind when I was a kid, I always wanted to have a small house somewhere in a mountain near to forest. This was my dream house. Dream.
What do you know? That was also my dream.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's I'm glad we got married.
Yeah, actually, I think this is good because it's important to have common dreams and goals with your significant other. I mean, otherwise you have issues. And when we met, if you remember correct, I was thinking to move in Scotland or in UK. Do you remember this?
Yeah. That was a silly idea.
Why?
Scotland and the UK.
I like the rural areas of these countries, and
To be honest, the best part about the UK is the countryside.
yeah, exactly.
The cities
I
really not impressed me.
And
But the countryside was beautiful.
you know how I really like the cottage vibe, and I like the country of the countryside as well. However, since we are here in Greece and we are blessed to live in this region with Olympus and with we have this
Massive forest.
we have the forest, but we have hillsides as well.
Yeah.
It looks like Hobbiton. I mean, I don't want to brag, but we're really lucky.
It's really nice here.
Yes.
But that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, the thing with Greece, which I'm trying to sell Greece in comparison with the UK,
Yeah.
and basically most places in the world. The thing in Greece is that you have so many different landscapes and everything is so close together. Like you can be at the top of Olympus, not the top, but way on
You can
Olympus.
be on the top and be.
If you're on the top,
Yeah.
to go to you can run to where the cars are in what, about an hour maybe?
It's an hour because I did that.
An hour of just walking very fast or running downhill.
If you run, it's less than an hour actually.
Less than an hour.
Yeah.
You can be where the cars are, and then you need like what,
10 minutes
10-15 minutes to go to
Plaga.
the beach.
To the beach.
From the highest mountain in the region.
Actually,
In
I
North Greece
used to
for
do
sure.
that. I mean, I remember once I was with my friends up in the mountain in Olympus, in the ancient snow gorge where you can play with the ice.
Yeah.
And then we run down to the beach. It was like 40 degrees. We went
the
for swimming.
distances are so small that you can be on the mountain, you can be at the sea in very little time. You need to, I mean, you can be way on the mountains like we want to be, and in half an hour maximum, you are in a big city like Katerina.
Yeah. Or in Thessaloniki.
And in 1 hour, you're in Thessaloniki.
No, it's less. Actually, it's less than an hour.
Yeah.
It's like 35 minutes, but then we have the traffic inside the city.
Yeah, well, let's say an hour to be.
If you want to go to the other side, to this side, I mean, you go to the west part, you're like in a half hour. I mean, it's really close
The
to.
distances are crazy small here. It's and the landscape is fine. It's not like you can see cities or something. You cannot see them. You're very far away from them. But at the same time, it's very easy to drive. Like in some other parts of the world, I see some distances that people have to drive. Like in the US, for example, that you need to drive 4 hours to go from the mountains to the nearest city. Or in Australia, it's crazy. That from one side to the other of the country, you need how many? I don't know how many hours. It's like crossing a continent almost.
The greatest part is not the distance. The greatest part is the speed limit.
Oh yeah.
You have to drive like you're totally alone in a straight line, and you're driving like with 100 kilometers per hour.
You told me that your parents were there.
My dad.
And the helicopter comes if you speed.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna speed. It's a desert. There's nobody around. How are they gonna tell?
My dad tried to.
And the helicopter shows up out of nowhere.
I think it was in Australia. He drove from Sydney to.
In Australia, he said it was.
Yes, and he wanted to test what is going to happen.
What's going to happen if I don't drive like
idiot? And so yeah, he managed to get a ticket.
In the desert in Australia.
Australia, yes.
That's pretty impressive. So
No,
yeah,
I like
Definition.
it's just to to make to how can I say it? I love to be in nature. I'm not, even though I grow up in the city. I consider myself a country girl. I mean, I really like to be here.
of course you're from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh.
Why? It's not so bad. What movie?
My sister is from there because she was born there. I was there. I went there like I was a baby. I mean,
Yeah, you were
that
not.
doesn't count.
You were not born there, but
Yeah.
it's just,
So I'm born in the states of Olympus Mountain here in Catherine.
I don't care.
This is more impressive.
I don't care. You're from Atlanta.
Fuck off.
So, but what was the thing you were watching that was filmed there?
Ah, The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
My village.
So you're from the Walking Dead place.
Yes, exactly.
You're the Walking Dead.
No, I'm the
Well,
Walking Life.
you're from there, and all I've seen from that place is Walking Dead and people shooting them.
Yes,
And peaches, apparently, right?
I think so.
They've got a lot of peaches,
Mm-hmm.
but just peaches,
So-
not beaches. Oh.
I don't know. Maybe they have both.
I don't know. You're gonna tell me. I've never been there. So yeah, life in nature. So I think people should decentralize.
Yes.
People should decentralize. It's so silly. I mean, it's so dumb. Mankind is supposed to be smarter now. It's dumber.
You know what?
I've got news for you guys. It's so much dumber. People are trying to centralize more and more and move to the cities. The cities are swelling even until today, and the countryside is shrinking, and that's so backwards. People should
You know
decentralize.
what? I think it has to do also with the age. I mean, I think young people, they have to have this experience from the city. So when they grow older, to
Avoid it then.
yes,
But the problem is most of them do not avoid it then. They get used to
Yeah.
it, they get complacent, and they cannot even imagine living in the countryside afterwards. And I'm not saying it's just because it has to be done because it's what I think it has to be done. It's just a rational argument, because there are so many benefits to living in the countryside and in nature and in smaller villages. One is that you can actually be a lot more self-sufficient than you're in a city. A city produces 0 grams of food per day. Produces nothing. It's a big mouth that eats countless tons of food every day, and it produces 0, nothing. And so you are dependent on buying your food all the time, and you cannot control the prices, and you cannot control the quality of what you're eating.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in the countryside, you can have chickens, you can have a vegetable garden, you can have you're allowed to have some animals as well that you can get milk from, or you can get some meat from. You can have all those things, and they can be your own, and you can feed them, and you can know what goes into your mouth and into your body. And it's also almost for free.
You
to
know
do
what?
so.
But despite those facts, I mean, they're really important. I mean, to be self-sufficient, even though if you're not, if you don't want to be, a farmer or to raise the stock, I mean,
Yeah.
even to live in a small village, like my parents are doing now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're living in a small village. It's really beneficial for your health in total. I mean, it's not polluted. The environment.
Clean air.
Yeah, clean air.
People know each other.
Exactly, community. And
In cities, people don't know each other. They just nobody knows anybody.
they don't
and
care. Actually.
Nobody cares
They
about
don't
it.
care to know each other.
Yeah.
This is a different thing.
Yeah.
And even because we said yesterday that we don't have that on footage, that in cities, Greek cities are not beautiful, are really ugly.
Yeah, for the most part. Katerina is
Yes.
pretty nice.
We
But
don't
yeah.
have nice old towns and buildings. I mean, we
Yeah.
have some of those, but not everywhere. And for me, living in nature is, I think, I really, I'm enjoying to be far away from the city. And,
Yeah.
and if I want to go there, it's like a half
Yeah,
hour drive. I mean,
that's,
come
that's
on.
the thing. Especially in Greece. I don't get it. It's so fast. I mean, if
It's
you're
faster, actually.
if you work in Thessaloniki and you want to go, if you work in the west and you want to drive there from the east, it takes you a lot more time than if you are living 50 kilometers away and you get in the highway and drive there to go to work.
Exactly.
Why live in the freaking city? I can get it. I know why people live in there because I've also lived there for a long time, and I get it. I get it that it's convenient, that everything is close that you want to go to. But maybe people should start discovering what you can do in the countryside, and which is great. So it doesn't have crime in the countryside. Well, maybe there are some exceptions, but for the most part, it doesn't have crime because everybody also knows each other.
I mean, we're talking about the Greek rural sides. I don't know how it is. I mean,
and the pollution and everything. The pollution was terrible in Thessaloniki, and it's mostly coming from the buses, which are state-owned. The buses, they every time they move, they just produce a huge cloud of black smoke.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, all I know is that when the buses had a strike for a week, a couple of years ago, the city cleaned up.
Yeah, and
It
during
cleaned
COVID.
up. Everything was clean. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. The buses had a strike for a week. All it took was 1 week. The city cleaned up. So make what you want of that. So and when you see buses, you can see that they're just starting to drive, and there is a huge black smoke coming out of the
Diesel, mazout.
At the same time, we are fined if our car does the same thing. Yeah, it's interesting. So life in nature, everybody should do it. So let's talk about literature. What did you read when you were younger?
Okay, I was reading a lot of fantasy, as I said before, like Tolkien. I really liked to read about vampires.
No way.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that.
Yeah, I know.
So your favorite movie is Twilight, I guess?
No, of course not. No.
I know it's not, I'm just teasing.
You know...
But you liked Dracula.
Dracula, yes.
I don't drink wine.
Oh, God. Oh, okay.
Dracula. I think the Japanese call him Dracula.
I don't care.
Rifu Rain.
Come on. Yeah.
Why did you like Dracula?
I like the vampire myth, and you know.
Why?
I think because I'm Vlach.
So?
I don't know. It's my, my roots probably. I'm a bit.
Yeah, in Greece we have there is a let's say a subgroup of people
With
that
tribe.
Yeah, it's there is a relation with the area called Wallachia, which is now in Romania. There was a back and forth of people between those two countries and places, and there is also some, many of us have some kind of relatives somewhere in our genealogy, but that's not the reason.
I actually...
Is it because it was becoming a bat? Is it because he could hang upside down?
Yes.
Is it because he was sleeping in a coffin?
Yes.
What's so appealing
Tick
about
on the boxes.
What's so appealing about that?
I think it was mostly because, when I was a kid, we had this the book series about the Little Vampire. Do you remember those?
Yeah, of course I remember,
from the
because
German,
somehow I was also very fascinated by that.
Angela Zomer Bondebook, if I remember correct.
That was the first series of books that I got into as a kid, and I read all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I moved into more mature stuff while you got stuck with vampires and kept reading about vampires.
After I went into the kid stuff, I mean, about vampires, I really liked the genre, and I was reading about... I really liked Lovecraft and Poe, and so I read everything about vampires.
Totally don't like Lovecraft.
I love Lovecraft.
The only good thing about Lovecraft is Robert Howard. and Lovecraft is and the only bad thing about Robert Howard is Lovecraft.
I like Howard as well. Yeah, but I really liked. This dark part of I liked the fantasy and the dark part of literature. I mean,
you still didn't tell me exactly. I mean, I still don't understand what you like so much about vampires. Is it that they're anemic? Is it that they're
I like
they're disintegrating just by going out to the sun?
I can't go out to the sun. You know me.
Is it that their teeth are too long? And they can just actually hurt themselves just by smiling.
I'm going to do a little bit of Nadia.
Yeah. That was a good series
Yeah.
up to, what, the 4th season?
Yeah.
The 3rd season?
So-
Then it became very,
Okay.
not good. But anyway,
No, I like the aesthetics. I mean, and
the aesthetics.
and
The aesthetics, it looks like they haven't cleaned their house for centuries. And it's full of cobwebs and...
yes,
it looks
Yes.
like, I mean,
like Halloween.
it's a good thing there is no smell in vampire movies. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
It's a good thing you cannot smell through the screen. And you like the Twilight then? Twilight. Good movie, eh?
Nope.
That was a good movie. I mean, apparently everybody loved it.
You know what I liked?
All
Really?
girls loved it.
No, I didn't like Twilight, but I really liked the True Blood, the series. It was in the South US. It was amazing series.
I haven't seen that one.
You have to see that.
But from the covers and all
It was
I've
amazing.
seen,
I really liked that.
it looks like Twilight to me.
No, it wasn't. It was like really, really good. I mean, really into the vampiric lore.
By the way, if you are one of the chicks who are fascinated by Edward from Twilight,
No, we don't like Edward. We like other vampires.
I'm not talking to you at the moment. But if you are one of those girls and you are fascinated by that guy, all you have to do to get over it is just find a movie called The Curse of the Ring, which is about the Ring of the Nibelungen
I remember that.
with Siegfried, and Brunhilde is it. And that's a good movie, by the way. And the guy, that Edward guy, Pattison, what's his name? Robert Pattison,
I don't remember it,
Pattinson,
yeah,
whatever his name is. He's playing there,
Yeah.
and he's very young. And if you see him there, you'll get over him. Trust me. That's all.
He's a good actor.
That's-
He's a good actor.
Yeah, well, he's convincing in that
Yeah.
role. He's
It
convincing
was a
in
really
that
good
role.
movie. Yeah.
That's what he had to play there.
Yeah.
But it was also very fitting to himself, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I think, but I don't like Twilight. However, he's a really good actor into playing these obnoxious characters. It's like you something,
Thank you. Thank you.
Similarities. Huh?
Did you just call him Edward from Twilight?
Yes.
That's serious, guys. We have to stop this episode. There are serious family issues to resolve here.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, but Conan is good.
Mm-hmm.
Conan is good.
I liked Conan.
I mean, the vampires are silly, but Conan.
I liked vampires and Conan. I mean, back then,
The
I
only
really.
good thing is with vampires is that Conan was killing them.
You know what?
Killing them. He was killing them.
I was 6
Why do
years
you like
old.
Conan then?
I like Conan because
He was killing vampires and
He had a
wizards
sword?
and bloodsuckers and monsters and stuff.
and he was he had a
Killing
sword.
vampires.
And he had a sword. And back then when I was like 6 years old and I was watching Conan the Barbarian and Dracula with Christopher Lee, and I was really amazed from
Well,
both
at the
films.
same time.
No, I mean I really loved both films.
Who would you choose over each other? Dracula or Conan?
I really liked Christopher Lee. I mean, he was my first, how can I say it, major.
I want a straight answer. Who would you choose?
Hmm,
If you had to keep one,
I can't choose.
Conan or Dracula?
Dracula.
For me it's easy. It's Conan.
Both. I like both.
Not a good answer.
I can't choose. Please.
I choose Conan, particularly because he wanted to go after
Vampires.
dark wizards and monsters and blood-sucking, sorcerers and stuff.
I like both. I
Yeah.
like. No, I'm not choosing.
So, but you liked Conan, yeah?
Yeah, I liked Conan because he had a sword. Of course, I liked Conan.
So you like anybody with a sword then?
Yeah, I liked Link as well. He had a sword.
Who do you like?
Link from Zelda.
Link.
Yeah, he had a master sword as well.
But he was dressed like the men in tights.
Yes, exactly. I like Men in Tights as well. They had arrows.
It was funny, but it was a comedy.
Yes.
So Link was a joke, basically. What are you saying? Your words, not mine.
Come on.
He
I
had
like
tights, and he had
Tunic.
a shield as well.
Yes.
I mean, why
You know
not?
what? I'm going to bring my shield now and my.
Why not? So basically, you liked Conan because of swords. What do you like about swords? Why do you do swords?
Actually, I think
What's the appeal?
I really like Merlin as well and Arthur.
Yeah, they had swords.
Yes, I like this medieval silvery thing as well. I really enjoyed as a kid, and
I also like that story, Arthur and Merlin.
And I think it has to do with an archetype, I believe. That's why I'm really stuck with Zelda. I mean, and with
the hero archetype.
Yeah.
Going out into the world and making it a better place by killing vampires.
Not killing obnoxious guys from Thessaloniki.
You haven't done that yet.
I tried. It didn't work out.
I tried, but the sword was blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep on trying. Might succeed one day.
I'm trying every Sunday.
Yeah.
Because
I can verify that.
This is one of the things that brought us together as well. I mean,
so
the swords.
Yeah, it is. It's a symbol.
Yep.
That symbolizes a lot more than just killing vampires.
A phallus?
Maybe for you. For me, it symbolizes other things. Like, symbolizes honor. It symbolizes... the cross is a symbol. It's not a Christian symbol.
I know.
It's much older.
Yes.
And what it symbolizes is the way that consciousness crosses with matter and creates life in the material world, which,
brings the ideas into the physical world.
It's also the here and now.
Yeah.
That's also a cross.
Yeah.
The here and now. The here and the now.
I think the sword as a weapon usually feels like really a masculine weapon. I mean, this is how we get the vibe that.
The vast majority who use it
yes.
were men.
However, I was drawn into swords. I mean, from really young age. But back then we didn't have him. I mean, it was 40 years ago.
That's what I'm trying to explain, especially to younger people. That
it was difficult.
If there was, there was something like that, but we didn't know that there was something like that. Especially back then, it wasn't easy to find things. If you lived somewhere that was near, like a center or a hotspot for this sport,
for Olympic fencing,
maybe some places in America, maybe some places elsewhere, that were doing some kind of medieval swordsmanship of some kind.
We didn't have that in Greece.
That's what I'm saying. If you lived somewhere nearby something like that, that was your life. That's what you knew, that this exists and it's accessible. But if you didn't, like we didn't, you did not even know that it existed. And if you thought that it existed, it was too far away, and you didn't know how to get into it, and there was nobody doing it. So what we ended up doing was just different martial arts, and even in those, I personally was training with the sword a lot, the Japanese sword, because I did ninjutsu and aikido. But you just didn't find it, so you didn't do it. But if you found it, if it was in Katerini, for example,
now they have this Asian type of swords. I didn't like those.
What?
I mean, we have Asian martial art school a lot.
Yeah.
And
but a lot. In Katerini,
we
Katerini, they were doing some kind of sword fighting.
Yeah, they had something like kendo stuff and things.
You had kendo in Katerini.
I think they had something with this. Anyway, I remember myself, when I was a kid. Okay, it was much difficult. I mean, we knew only Olympic fencing. I don't like Olympic fencing. I mean, it wasn't
I get
my
we had Olympic fencing in Greece, everywhere, but nobody
not everywhere.
Nobody cares
only
about that. It's
few cities.
That's not fencing. It's just playing with a TV antenna.
However, I didn't like the Asian style as well. I was only interested into medieval sword of the night. I mean, that was my vibe. I mean, and back then we didn't know that there is the possibility of a sport like HEMA nowadays.
Yeah.
So, however, when I was adult and I found out that there is HEMA, it was only in Athens back then. I mean, like 20 years ago, it was the beginning of the sport. I mean, and it was difficult to participate. I mean, in any activities for me. Yeah. So, and actually, I managed to do the team that I had with here in Katerini.
Yeah, that you were training.
Yes.
You set it up.
Yep, and I was really
Brought somebody from Thessaloniki. To
a
teach.
friend from Thessaloniki. He was into martial arts, like in different styles, and
So that's the best thing you could do, and that's also what I do.
you know what you can do also. You can always order a sword and get a manual and just try, and you can find things through trial and error.
A lot of people have started schools like that.
Yeah, if you have also if there is two people, I mean, it gets much easier because I was lucky. I had my friends, you know my friends who they were, and we had this common interest, and we were talking about, and we were watching videos, and that helped a lot. I mean, with the swords and HEMA stuff.
Right.
However, I think I like swords. Yeah.
So to finish this first podcast, the last question is, would you like to keep doing HEMA in the future?
Yeah,
And
actually,
maybe expand into some areas?
I'm trying to, because I gave birth to two boys, and this hold me.
I'm aware.
You remember that, and because I had the complications with my surgeries and stuff, and I had to wait for a few months to heal before trying again to practice HEMA. I think even though I'm 45 years old, and I don't do a lot of practice, but I think I can. I want to keep going, and even though I'm old somehow, I'm really proud that I'm able to practice HEMA. And even though, if you remember, we went to Romania and I managed to win the third place among 25 guys, which I really feel. I think if I train, I can be much better, and I can grow in that sport.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Being your trainer, I agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, thank you. You're also a good athlete.
Oh, thank you.
You've got a lot of good things that you picked up in your past, both in your body and your mentality about training. And if you make use of those, I think you can do a lot of things. And by the way, I don't accept you saying that you're old, because you're not.
Okay.
And even if you were, and I will say even if you were old, HEMA is actually a quite forgiving sport for age, because my experience in HEMA is that technique far outweighs, athleticism. So if you have good technique and know what to do, and just have practiced and drilled good techniques down to perfection, then that is a much bigger comparative advantage to somebody who can lunge a little faster or can, be a little stronger or something like that.
You know what? I think as a girl, as a woman, and since I have competed in open longsword tournaments with men, usually they're young men. I mean, they're like 25 years old, 30. Yeah. And I'm lacking. I'm not so fast. However, I am able, because of my technique, to perform really well. I mean, even against young men who are really strong and really on the prime. And I think, how can I put it? It's a good sport for everybody. I mean, everybody should try to wield the sword. That's my opinion.
I agree. It's not a sport for everybody, but everybody should at least give it a try.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Mrs. Kombatsiaris.
Thank you, Mr. Kombatsiaris.
Thank you a lot. We might do it again sometime.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Maybe, your audience wants to listen to all the crazy stories. Stuff.
To find out more dirty laundry.
I have a lot.
Yeah, well, everybody has.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Yeah.